Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm going to be showing you a beginner's guide to the PS Vita, the PlayStation Vita, this little handheld console here. Now it is going to be a beginner's guide, so if you're used to setting up consoles you're probably not going to learn much from this video, but basically I'm going to show you what to do when you buy it second hand, so how to reset the system so it's like factory settings, and also how to format the memory card, how to insert the games, how to charge it up. I'm also going to show you how to do the remote play as well from the PlayStation 4. Not only am I going to do it locally, I'm also going to do it via a Wi-Fi hotspot on my mobile cell phone, so I will be able to take this anywhere and use it for remote play back to my home console. So a little bit about this PS Vita. This one here is the first generation model, so it's got the OLED screen. A lot of people prefer this screen because it's very vibrant with the colours. Later on they went over to a slim version and that had an LCD screen. LCD screens are cheaper, but then again the slim version is nice and light to hold, so it's kind of preference about which one you prefer. Personally, I prefer the OLED version, but then a lot of other people would like the slim version as well. So if you were to get this second hand, you might well find that it's already been reset to factory settings, but if it hasn't and you want to put it back to factory settings, it's nice and easy to do. Now with this thing here, it has got a touch screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset it to begin with, and I'm also going to format the memory card because there is a little memory card in here that I will show you as well. So I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go to start, and first of all I'm just going to format the memory card and I'll show you how to insert it later on. So I'm going to go down to format and I'm going to go to format memory card. If you format a memory card, all the data on the memory card will be deleted, so I'm going to go to format, press yes, all data on the memory card will be deleted. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, and it's just formatting now. Okay, formatting complete, the system will restart. Right, okay, now I'm actually going to reset the system. Again, I'm going to go down to where it says format, and I'm going to restore this system. If you restore the system, settings will be restored to default values and all data in the system storage will be deleted. This system will close all applications in use. Do you want to continue? I'm going to press yes. Settings will be restored to default values and all data in the system will be deleted. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. Restoring complete. Do you want to format the memory card also? Well, I've already done that, so I'm going to press no. The system will restart. Right, okay, so it's asking me to flip down from here. So this is what it's going to be like when you restore the system, so it's the same as turning it on from a brand new PS Vita. And now we've got to go through the setup. So I'm just going to quickly go through this, and then on the bits that take too long I will fast forward through the video. So select a language. I'm going to do English. And I'm going to select my time zone. So it says here London. You're going to have to select your own time zone. Press next. Just going to lower it down a bit, we've got volume buttons up here. Right, okay, the date is correct, so I'm just going to do next. Do you have a Sony Entertainment Network account? Now, you don't have to have a PlayStation to have a PlayStation Vita. You can use this on its own with its own games, but if you have a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3, then it's good because you can do the remote play and stuff between them. So I do have a Sony network account, so I'm going to press next. Do you want to use your account on your PlayStation Vita? Right, I'm going to say use, so I'm going to go to next. Right, now it's going to ask me to connect to my Wi-Fi. So already now it's recognised my PS4 down here, but I'm actually going to connect it up straight onto my router itself. I'm going to go to this one here, Virgin Media 908. Basically that's the SSID. So if you're not sure what that is, what you need to do is you need to find where your router is, or you might know it as a router if you live in a different part of the world. In the UK we call it a router. and you need to look at the wireless SSID. So on this particular one here, it's BT Hub 5, blah, blah, blah. So you need to look at your one and see what it is. There's no point in connecting to one of your neighbors because you're not going to know the wireless key. You need to connect to your own router. So if this router was plugged in, then on the PS Vita, it would come up with this ID up here. So on my one, I'm going to be connecting to this Virgin Media one. It keeps dropping in and dropping out because I've got such a poor signal on it. So I'm just going to tap that one. Right, now it's going to ask me for the password for this. So again, if you look at your router, you see here wireless key. You would need to enter in this number. Obviously not this one because this is for this particular router, but on your one you would enter in your wireless key. It might also be called a passphrase or a password. Whatever it is under the SSID, you need to enter in that, and then that will give you access to connect to your router. So I'm just going to do that off camera a second. Right, now it's just saying connecting. Right, and now it wants me to sign into my PlayStation account. So again, whatever you use on your PlayStation 4, you're going to have to use here, or if you haven't set it up before, then you can set up a new one on here, or you can go onto your PC and set one up there if you find it easier. Right, okay, so I entered my username and password. It says you now have completed initial setup. Your PlayStation Vita system is ready. So I'm going to press OK. Right, the PlayStation Vita system has an application to restrict the duration your child can play and the features your child can use. Tap Parental Controls when the home screen is displayed. So obviously if you're setting this up for one of your children and you do want to restrict certain things, so for example, you can see on the games here that on this Wipeout here, it's recommended for 7 and above, but then if it was to be Killzone Mercenary, it's for 18 and above. So you can set these restrictions so it will only play certain games on the PS Vita itself. Okay. Right, now the first time you use it, it is just going to talk you through how to do different things. So I'm just going to be fast forwarding through this on the video because you can just read this yourself when you actually get your PS Vita. Okay, it says this is the home screen. The home screen is where you start applications. Tap the welcome pack icon to begin. So basically you've got an icon up here. Now this is a good little thing to begin with, especially if you've bought this second hand, to make sure everything's working, because this has a touchpad at the back and not all the games always use this, so you might be unsure if it's working, but by using the welcome pack you will be able to see that it's working okay. Right, it does various things on this setup here. You can test the touch screen, you can test the cameras, you can test the touchpad at the back. So make sure you do this when you set it up to begin with, and then you can verify that everything is actually working like it should be. Right, and just as a quick way of testing it, if you really don't want to go through all these things to do here, if you just get your fingers and if you just rub them along the back here, can you see that the world is moving? So I'm just moving my finger up and down here and I can see that the world is moving up and down, and then on this hand here, if I was to swipe right and left, then the world moves that way. So immediately there you can see wherever I rub my hand the world is moving, so I know that the touchpad at the back is actually working okay. Yeah, and then if you were to go to, for example, the camera one, then you can test the camera front and back. Right, so that's the front facing camera, which is over here, and that's the rear facing camera. So you can see my thumb now in the front facing camera, and if I tap that one there, that's the rear facing camera. So again, you know now that your cameras are working. Right, I'm going to get out of this because again you can do this in your own time. Right, to get to the main menu, it's really simple. You just tap this little PlayStation button here, and then what you can do is, to get rid of that, you can just swipe down from the right hand side. Let me get off that. You can just swipe down from the right hand side there. Yeah, it won't keep coming up with these hints. It's only because we've reset the system so it thinks you've never used it before, so that's why. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this off now, and then I'm going to show you where to put the memory card and where to put the games. So up here there's a little on and off button. I'm just going to hold that down for a few seconds, and again it says here power off, so I'm just going to tap power off, and now when that button goes out, the system is now off. So that's the system off now. Now, when you're transporting this around the place, it will get scratched up if you're not careful with it. So you can get screen protectors to protect it, or what I think is a good idea is just get yourself one of these. I got this little case for, it was, believe it or not, it was only 99p, so just under £1 UK off eBay. But I've seen loads of sellers selling them for around £2 UK, so that's not a lot of money at all. And then as well, it's not a big hard case, so it doesn't take up a load of room. Obviously there's nowhere for me to store my games in there. If you've got, like, if you carry around a rucksack, then get yourself a hard case where you can store your games and you can put your little USB lead and stuff in there. But this is perfect for me because then that can go in your pocket. It's a little bit on the big side, but it's still a lot smaller than something like the Nintendo Switch, and that will just protect the screen from your keys and stuff rubbing against it. So invest in a case when you get one. Right, let me just show you where the memory card is. So if we have a look here at the bottom of the PS Vita, you just need to use your nail and you just need to pick that open there, and then to get the memory card out, you just need to push in and it will pop out. So I've pushed in, you hear a little click, and then it will pop out like so. And then to insert it, what you need to do is, when you're looking at it, you need to have the gold pins facing you and also in to the PS Vita. I mean, it's not going to let you put it in the wrong way around. If I try to put that in the wrong way around, it only goes so far and it won't go any further. So the gold pins facing you and at the top, and you just push it into the little slot like so, and then push it down and you will hear it click into place. There we go. Okay, now unfortunately these memory cards are really expensive. They're not little micro SD cards, they're a card that Sony has made, and really they've done it just purely to make money. Now normally you can get micro SD cards ridiculously cheap on places like eBay and Amazon, but if you have a look here you can see that this is an 8GB one, and I got charged £18 for this, and bear in mind that's a second hand one as well. They still hold their value lots. You can get a 4GB one, 8, 16, 32. The more, as you start going higher and higher up, they start getting really expensive. So it's up to you what you're going to do. I'm going to be using mostly cartridge games, so 8GB will be fine for me. I'm only going to be installing possibly a few games off the PlayStation Plus when you get them free every month. Then I might be installing the odd one of them onto this. So I'm not going to need a huge amount of gigabytes, but if you're planning on installing a lot of games or some of the bigger popular games, then you're quickly going to start to eat through. A lot of people recommend that you should start on 16GB. The problem with that is you're going to be looking at probably around about £35 for a 16GB one. And when you consider that you can actually buy the whole handheld console now for around £70 to £80, it seems a shame to then go out and spend the same amount on a memory card. But obviously that's going to be your choice. The way I look at it is that the game cartridges are so small that it's not too much bother to carry them around the place anyway, because if you look how small they are, they don't take up a lot of room. Right, so let's pop the memory card back in. Like so, and just click into place and then close that up there. Now, to put games into this, you put them into this slot at the top that says PS Vita. Now, they're a little bit fiddly to get in. It's okay if you've got relatively long nails because you can just pick it out, but you need to get your nail into that little groove there and just slide that down. It's not very well made, but believe it or not, it does actually work and it does last quite well. Now, there is another port here, but that isn't actually in use for anything, so you won't be using that port. So it's just this one here. Now, to put in the games cartridge, really nice and easy. You just open it up, get your finger in there, and just, they kind of lever out like so. And then when you put them back in, there's two little prongs there. You just push them into place. Right, with the games cartridge, again, you're going to have the picture facing you. It's not going to let you put it in the wrong way. If you try to put it in the wrong way, it will only go in so far. Don't force it anymore because you can see that it's not going in. So put it in with the picture facing you and with the PS Vita logo the right way around so you can read it. And you put it in, and again, just like the memory card, you just do it until it clicks. So it just clicks into place and then pops out again. Take it out, you just push down and it pops out. Like so. Right, okay, let me put in Wipeout. You can get games relatively cheaply. I got this game for £12. I got the Killzone one for £12 as well. Again, these are all second-hand games, but there's nothing wrong with them. And if you go to a proper video game store, then normally they give them a bit of a guarantee anyway. So I'm going to plug that in there, press down, and then just close the flap. So that's our game in, and that's our memory card in. So we've got an on-off button here, we've got volume buttons here. We've only got one left and one right trigger, so it's not like your PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 controller where you have your R1, R2 and also L1 and L2. We've only got one lot of shoulder buttons on the PS Vita, but yet we can play games on here from remote play. And what will normally happen is, this is where you can start using the touch screen at the back. So the buttons that's missing on here are the R2, L2 and also L3 and R3 when you push in the analog sticks and they click down. But it takes a little bit of getting used to, but basically they will have them either mapped to the back touchpad here or to the screen here. So when you start the game up to begin with, it will tell you where these buttons are. So you can either do them on the touch screen here, so it will be in the four corners. So it might be, for example, L2, R2, L3 and R3, or they might be mapped to the back. So once you get used to that, you can play games on remote play fine. Right, you've got two speakers here, here and here. You've got two analog sticks here and here. They do not click in, hence the reason they need to map the L3 and the R3 somewhere on the touch screen or the touchpad at the back. You've got your normal buttons here and you've got your directional pad here. Now, just here we've got a select and a start button. And here we've got a headphone jack, so you can either plug in your headphones straight into there, or you've also got Bluetooth on here as well. So you can use Bluetooth headphones if you prefer to use Bluetooth. And we have our charging jack here. Now with the charging jack, again, it looks like this. It will only go in one way. So it's not like a micro USB or a mini USB that you're used to. It's its own special jack. And what you need to do is, basically, if you look at it, one end is kind of smooth and the other end has indentations. The indentations go at the bottom to marry up with that little shape down there. So if you try to put it in the wrong way, it won't go. So don't force it. Put it in this way with the flat bit at the top and it just clips into place like so. And then when you plug it in, you will see that the light will light up. The little PlayStation light will light up. So I've plugged it in now. And there you go, you can see I've got little orange lights lit up there. Alright, so to turn it on, we've got a little forward facing camera there and we've got a rear facing camera there. Now to turn it on, we just need to hold down the on and off button for about 3 seconds. So I'm going to hold it down now, 1 and 2 and 3, and there we go. And you see it comes on there and we have the little PlayStation light up here. So now let's say we want to play Wipeout. And there we go, it's ready now to play. So just tap the icon and then press start. Now I've got the volume turned down low just purely for the video, but when you turn it up it will only let you go so far and then it will say AVLS. All that means is to protect you when you put your headphones in there. You can turn that off on the settings. So for example, if I was just to quickly, while that's loading up there, if I was to go to settings here, press the PlayStation button and then go to settings, start, and if I was to go to sound and display and see AVLS at the moment is on, and if I was to hit the question mark, it will tell you limits the maximum volume for headphones. This can help reduce noise escaping from your headphones as well as the risks from not being able to hear what is going on around you. So it's just a protective thing. So if I was to turn that one off, and then now I should be able to put the volume all the way up. Yeah, you can see now it goes all the way up. Yeah, so you can go past that AVLS, but I'm going to leave it on. There we go, and it will only let me go to that much there. Right, let's get out of this. So press the back, hit the PlayStation button, and now go back to wipe out again. Okay, lower that down again. Right, I'm just going to hit start. Press any button to start. Access to online features and services require a PlayStation Network account and a Network Pass voucher. Okay. Now, okay, I won't show you it in here, but in the actual game itself, I've got a voucher code, and it's got the code written down the bottom there. So that's how you can enter that. Right, okay, so it tells you the controls there. So as you can see, the graphics are nice, colours are lovely. It looks better in real life than actually on the screen through the video camera. But you can see there, it's a nice thing. Right, okay, so that's that. Let's go to the remote play feature, because that really is a good feature. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I've got the PS4 down here, I'm going to be using remote play on the PS4. Now, I've never set it up on the PS3, but I believe only certain games allow you to do remote play on the PS3, and on the PS4, I believe it works with every single game. So the remote play is a service that PlayStation do that allow you to control and play your PlayStation 4 from another device, such as this device here, or your laptop, or your PC. Now, you can connect it up locally, so I can just connect up to the Wi-Fi, and then you can use it that way. But a better option is to connect it up to your Wi-Fi hotspot on your mobile cell phone, and then you will be able to take this absolutely anywhere, and you just connect up via the internet. Now, to begin with, at the moment, I've already got my Vita set up to the same home network as I have the PlayStation 4. So it's going to be really easy to do. First of all, I'm going to set up the settings on the PlayStation 4, and then I'm going to show you what to do on the Vita. So on the PlayStation 4, all we need to do is we need to go up to settings. So you see settings on the right hand side there, and press X. And now, just zoom in a bit. We need to go down to where it says remote play. So you see it says there remote play connection settings, and I'm going to press X. And first of all, I need to enable remote play, so I'm just going to press X in that checkbox. And there it says connect directly with PS Vita and PS TV. So they've already checked that for me. If it's not checked, then you do need to check that one there. So that's all we need to do on that bit there. But now, for this next part, because I want to be able to play this away from home as well, I'm going to change the power setting, because I need the PS4 to be able to wake up when I issue the command from my PlayStation Vita. And this time I'm going to go down to power saving settings and press X, and I'm going to go down to set features available in rest mode and press X, and I'm going to say stay connected to the internet, so I'm going to press X on that. And I'm also going to go to this one, is the important one, enable turning on of PS4 from the network. So that's what we want to do, because when we're away from home, we want to be able to turn the PlayStation 4 on. That's it. Now, when you turn off your PlayStation 4, you will just have to keep it in rest mode, because obviously if I turn this off completely, then it's not going to be able to be woken up again. But if I just keep it in rest mode, then it will be able to be woken up. So, but I'll show you all that later on in the video. Right, so that's the PS4 side of it done. Now, on the PlayStation Vita, it's really easy. Right, so go to PS4 link, and I'm going to go to start. And now what it's going to do is, once I hit remote play, it's going to search nearby for the connection, and it will pick it up because we're off the same router connection, or you guys might know it as a router. And up there now it says connected using remote play. and here we will have it working. So it's as simple as that. That's all you need to do. And if you have a look there now, you can see when I move it here, it moves on screen. And then any digital game I can just play. If I want to play a disc, then the disc has to be physically in here beforehand. So if you're going to take this, you know, away to a different part of the country, and you know you want to play, for example, like Minecraft or something, you have to make sure that that disc is already in here. But all your digital games you will be able to just play remotely, because obviously they're already on the hard drive of the PS4. Right, so that's how you will do it in Wi-Fi range. But now if I was to take that outside, I'm going to lose Wi-Fi range, and then I'm not going to be able to use it. So I want to now connect it up to my mobile phone hotspot, and in theory then I can take it absolutely anywhere I want, as long as I have a good connection. So if I have a good 4G connection, it's going to work well. If I have a poor connection, the service is going to be really bad. Now, as well as that, I've got this PS4 connected up via a LAN cable, this Ethernet cable in the back here. If it's on Wi-Fi, the service is not going to be good, because if you're using this on Wi-Fi and the PS4 on Wi-Fi, unless you've got a really rock solid connection, it's not going to work well. But if you connect it up via a LAN cable, then you're going to get the best possible connection to your PS4, and then this will have to be connected by Wi-Fi anyway, so you haven't got a choice. But obviously the stronger the signal, the better it works. So if you try it and it doesn't work very well, don't be disheartened, because you might be just having a bad signal on your mobile phone. Try a different location, and if you have a good strong 4G signal, you will see it will work okay. Right, so I've got my phone here now. Let's enable the Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone. Right, okay, now to get to the Wi-Fi hotspot, you have to go into your settings. So you might have an icon on here already, or you might have to go to the menu down here and find where your settings icon is. I must say now this is an Android phone, so I'm going to go to settings. But obviously you will be able to do a Wi-Fi hotspot on any phone that you have. Right, under wireless and networks, then I'm going to go to more. So I'm going to tap it there, and I'm going to go to where it says tethering and portable hotspot. And before I turn it on, I'm just going to look at the settings, because I'll need to know my password and what the SSID of the phone is. So on this phone, the network name is VFD900. So when I search for a network on the PlayStation Vita, that's what I'm looking for, VFD900. You can change this to something more memorable if you like. And then if you were to tap on show password, it's going to show you what the password is up here. So I'm not going to do that in this particular one. Now, if you've got an option on the band between 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, you're going to have to keep it on the 2.4, because on this particular PlayStation Vita here, it will only recognize the 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, so anyway, that's where you will get your network name and your password from. I'm just going to hit save, and now I'm just going to tap where it says portable Wi-Fi hotspot to turn it on. And now that's turned on, and if you have a look up there, I've got a little round symbol, looks like kind of Pac-Man on the side there. Yeah, so that's that symbol there. So that's the hotspot enabled. Now, you will have to check your allowance on your phone. I get over 20 gigabytes of data a month on this, so I'm absolutely fine. If you're only getting 500 megabytes, which is half a gigabyte, then you want to be careful using a service like this, because you will eat up through the data. So you don't want to be charged from your mobile cell phone provider a load of money for data that you weren't realizing you were using. So double check to see what plan you're on, to make sure that you've got enough data on your plan to be able to use this without paying a whole load of money. Right, okay, so that's set up now, but in future the only thing you have to do to set it up is basically scroll down from the top, see where it says hotspot, and tap it, because your PS Vita will already have the password and everything registered to it. So it's only going to take a while on the first time. So that's it there now, and I can turn the screen off. The hotspot is still live. You can see a little flashing light there. Right, now on the PS Vita, what I'm going to do is I want to now connect, because at the moment I'm still connected locally to my PlayStation. So I just want to get out of that. So I'm just going to tap that, and I'm just going to hold down the PS4 button here, and I'm just going to go down to where it says power, and I'm going to enter it into rest mode. And now what that will do is it will turn my PS4 off, just the same now as you would do when you finish playing with it, and it says that the connection has been lost. and there we go. You can see now that my PS4 is now in rest mode. Right, so at the moment I'm still connected to my local Wi-Fi, but I now want to connect it up to my mobile phone so I can take this PS Vita and use the PlayStation Remote Play anywhere I go. So I'm going to go to Settings, Start, and I'm going to go down to Network. I'm going to go to Wi-Fi Settings. Now at the moment it says I'm Wi-Fi connected to my Virgin Media, that's my one at home, but I'm going to connect up to VFD 900, which was the SSID off my mobile phone. So I'm going to hit VFD 900, and now it's going to ask me for the password that I mentioned earlier. So I'm just going to take that off screen now and enter the password. Okay, so I've entered the password now and it's saying please wait, and now I'm connected. So it says here Wi-Fi connected, WFD 900, and you can see I've got a nice strong signal there. So let's get out of that, and now let's go into PS4 link again, and this time it won't search locally, it will search via the internet. So to begin with it will search locally and it won't find it because we're not connected locally anymore, and then it will search via the internet and it will find it. So I'm going to hit that there, and right now my PS4 down here is in just standby mode, so you can see the little lights on in the bottom corner here, amber. Okay. And what I'll do as well is, just to show you that the screen doesn't have to be on. So at the moment, you've seen earlier it was working on the screen, but I'm going to unplug the HDMI lead from the back, and right now I've only got the power and the LAN cable connected to the PS4. So now let's go to PS4 link, Start, Remote Play. It will say searching nearby, and when it doesn't find anything nearby it will then say searching via the internet, and that's hopefully when it will pick up. Right, did you hear the little beep there? And if you have a look now, you've got a blue light down here, so it's woken it up via the network. It says turning on the PS4 system. So if you hadn't have enabled that wake up via the network, then it wouldn't be able to do that. So that's why it's important that you change those PS4 settings. Now I don't have a great mobile signal in my house. I do have 4G, but I've only got a couple of bars. It's not a strong signal, but as you can see it has worked there. Yeah, but when you're doing this now, the touch screen will no longer work on the PS Vita, because remember you're taking the screen from the PS4, so you are going to have to use, just like you would do your PS4 controller. These are all the games that would be on my hard drive, for example. If I had a disc in there, then it would be fine. You could still play the disc in there. At the moment I haven't got any disc in the PlayStation 4, but if I was to go to Drive Club, and right now this is working from my mobile phone hotspot, so in theory anywhere that I've got a good connection I will be able to take this absolutely anywhere and connect up to my PlayStation 4. So yes, right now I am by my PlayStation 4, but if I was to take this camera and take it upstairs, I mean this is still within Wi-Fi range, so it's not really proving anything, but I'm just showing that it will work obviously when you're away from the PlayStation 4 as well. But it's still connected to my phone. And you have sound and everything come through. There we go. So you would have accelerate here on the R button up the top. You would have brake here and reverse. And then you can change the camera angle by up on the directional pad, so you can see there, and you would have left and right steer on here, and then you can look around the place with your right analog. So if I was to do that there, you can look around using your right analog, and then I think it's 0 for handbrake, and I think it's O for handbrake. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so there you go, that's Remote Play working on the PS Vita. Okay, and then when you're finished with it, what you can do is you can just tap the PlayStation button here, and you can hold down the PlayStation button in the middle here, and then what you can do is you just put it into enter rest mode again, and then it means that your PS4 won't be whirring away for the next while until it goes into standby. So if I was just to hit X here into enter rest mode, and then what it will do is it will turn off the PS4, and then the PlayStation Vita will say that the connection's been lost. There we go. So right now the PS4's back into standby mode again, into rest mode. So now if for example the service isn't great, it's not working as well as you want it to, what you can do is you can lower the resolution, and you can also lower the frame rate as well. So when you're on this page here, the remote play screen, if you have a look, there's 3 little buttons down the bottom here. Just tap that, and then it will say settings. So tap settings, and then what you can do is you can do the video quality for remote play, and you can, at the moment I've got it on 540p. I can lower that to 360p, because obviously then that's going to use up less data. So in theory, if the connection's a little bit, if it's glitchy, then try it at a lower resolution, because even 360 on a screen this small is still going to look nice enough. And also the frame rate you can have between standard and high. So obviously if you've got a really good connection in your house with your internet between your router and your PS4, if you're using a LAN cable, and also you've got a great internet connection into the house, and you've got a really good 4G signal here, then put it on high, which is standard 540, and also put it on high frame rate, and then obviously that will be the best you can get. But if it's suffering and it's glitching, lower it down to standard and also put it down to 360, and then you can try it again. Okay, so that's the PlayStation Vita. It hasn't been a huge success, but personally I do like it. I think it's well made. I really like this original OLED screen, and I think although there could be more games for it, a lot of people slate the PlayStation Vita because they say that a lot of the games are just independent games. But you do still get good games for the PlayStation Vita, and if you were to use it for the remote play alone, then that's a really handy feature to have it with the controls built into it. So of course you can do this on your laptops and stuff, but then you're having to connect up your PlayStation 4 controller to it, which is a bit of a pain. But this is just all built in one. So I think it's a really well made, nice device. And now that you can get them second hand for well under £100, I think really it's pretty good, especially now that the games that you can get are quite cheap. You know, like you can get games ranging from, you can get some games for £5, you get loads of games for £10, £12, £15, that sort of price. So it's quite good, although the games are getting a bit old now. It's still a lot of fun. Now I hope you like this video. Obviously the PlayStation Vita does a lot more than what you've seen in this video. This is just like an initial setup of what you can do with it. So I hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if it's helped you out, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care, bye now.